Okay, now that we're in the back end, let's go ahead and take a look at how the posts and pages work. So in the left-hand sidebar, we have a section called Pages. Now, pages are typically content inside of your e-commerce site that doesn't change. This would be things like the company about us page, or the terms and conditions page, or a contact us page, things like that are sort of static in nature. The other sort of section is called the posts section, and post content is things that's archivable. And typically this would be where you're going to post your blog posts. Now, kind of like products, posts have categories. So you can set up categories for your posts. So you could have a category called marketing. You could have a category called social media. You could have a category called product reviews. Doesn't really matter, however you want to set those up. But then all of your posts will belong to a specific category. And by default, if we click on the categories tab, you can see there's just one category called uncategorized, and it's the default WordPress category. So you'll likely want to edit this and update this. I'm not going to worry about categories, but in your site, you probably will. So what I want to do is I just want to come to the all posts here for a second, and I'm just going to add a couple of dummy posts so you can kind of see how this hierarchy works. So I'll add a new post here, and this would be that, like a blog post. Maybe I want to review a specific product. So I'll just say product review, and I'm not going to fill any of the content out here. I'll just, you obviously would type content. You can use the block editor to add different blocks and images and things like that. Maybe I'll embed an image just from the media library so we have something to look at, that we looked at some of these images we did in our last one. And I'm going to go ahead and leave that in there, and then I'm just going to publish this blog post. So let's go ahead and say publish. I didn't add any tags to this. So it's ready. It's now live, and if I click on View Post, it's going to take me to the front end of the website, and now I can see where that post is alive, and you can see comments are turned on. So if I come to the home page of my website, I now have two posts, right? The one I just barely did, and the original one that comes default. So I want these posts to live, however, in their own page. So in order to do that, let's go back to the back end of your site, so back to Dashboard. And we're going to come down here to the Settings tab, and there's a few things in here we're going to take a look at. So in the reading section, you can see that by default, the home page is set to display my latest posts. And I want to change that. So I want the home page to display one of those static pages. So I'm going to say, okay, for my home page, I want this to display, well, I don't have that created yet. But for right now, let's just say sample page. And then the posts page, I can set to be whatever I want as well as far as the posts go. So I'm just going to do the home page right now. And let's go ahead and hit Save Changes. Now let's go back to the Pages section. And I need to set up a static page that will act as my home page. So I'm going to add a new one. And I'm just going to call this thing home page, for lack of a better term, so I can kind of visually see here. Home page content. And just like as before, there's going to be, stuff in here. This would allow me to then periodically update this and rotate this page content out how I need. I'll go ahead and hit publish so we can publish that page. And now let's go back. Let's go ahead and click view page to make sure that's working. Perfect. Okay. So let's go back to the back end. And now I need to go configure my site one more time. So let's go down to the settings and the reading section. And I want to configure my home page instead to use the one I called home. So there's the home page content. So I'm going to update that and hit Save Changes. And now when I go look at the front end of my site, you can see that my home page is now set to that default page. And I can put whatever content I want on there. So next, I need to get a link up here in my blog that goes to my post archive page, or that posts page. So let's set that up next. So let's go back here to the dashboard. We're going to set up a new page again. So I'll come into Pages. And let's say add new. And I'm just going to call this the blog. Or you could call it, whatever you want, but I'll just call it blog. And then where it says choose a block, here's where we're going to set up a specific block, because I don't want to have static content on this, right? I don't want to type this out. I want the content of this page to be that summary of all the blog posts that my website has. So I need to add a special block for that. So we can click on the little plus button over here, and this will bring up the block editor. And you can see there's quite a few things we can do here, but let's go ahead and click Browse All. And you can see inside of the blocks, there's text blocks and all sorts of things. But we want to scroll down here, and we're going to be looking at these widgets. So you can see there's a few different widgets. There's calendar widgets, archives. We can add all this sort of stuff, but that's the one I'm looking at, latest posts. So I can add this latest post widget. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. and it's going to drop in the latest posts widget. And actually, instead of the widget, we actually want to have the post archive. So that's actually not the one we want. I'm actually going to remove this. So before I remove it, I just want to show you how this works. So I'm going to go ahead and click publish to publish this page. Let's go back then to our WordPress settings. So we're going to go down to the settings and reading. And now we're going to configure that posts page to be that blog page we created. So I'm going to choose blog and hit save. And now when we go back to the front end of the website, for the last time here, our home page is, whoops, that's not working correctly. That should be showing our blog content, but that's still showing the home page. So something's misconfigured. Let me check here. Not misconfigured, I'm on the home page. I was looking up here for the blog. So the reason why I can't get to the blog link is because I haven't added it to my menu. So let's go ahead and add this to our menu. So we're going to come back to the back end of your website. We're going to go down into the appearance and menus section. And then we need to add that new page we created, the blog page, to our main menu. So let's come over here and we can come into our pages and let's just say view all. And there it is, the one called blog. So I'm going to go ahead and select the blog page, click add to menu, and it puts it down there. But I probably want to put this somewhere fairly prominent. So maybe I'll have it go home, shop, then blog. And I'm going to get rid of the sample page at this point. I don't need this one anymore in my menu, so I can just remove that one. And I'll go ahead and save that menu. So now that that is done, I'll go ahead and go back to the front end of my website. Okay, there we go. So there's home, shop, and then now there's my blog link. So if I click on blog, it's going to take me to that blog page. And sure enough, now you can see that I've got those two featured, I guess they're not featured articles, but those two recent blog posts. And it's automatically going to do pagination. So if you have, I think the default I have in my settings, I forgot to look, but I think after 10 blog posts, you'll get page 2 and page 3. So it's automatically going to add the pagination links once I have 10. But then that allows people to come into the blog section and they can click on any of the various recent blog posts and get all that marketing material. So you definitely want to set that up because it's going to be a requirement for your site. Not only do you want to have your shop set up with all of your products, but you're going to have your blog set up with several marketing material links that we're going to be doing next.